So today we're going to talk about Mystery Babylon. We're going to talk about why it's not safe to go to church. Okay, now there's going to be a lot of controversy in this video. I hope you'll watch the whole thing. There may even be a part two. I don't know. But it's really important to understand how evil infiltrates the church, or how Satan is able to take the power of the Spirit that lives inside of people and take believers and neutralize them. And one of the ways he does that is through a compromised, watered down church. Now, some of you may be attending fellowships, churches that you are very happy with, you feel really blessed, you have a great pastor and all of that. And so you may think, well, this doesn't apply to you because your church is a good church. But Mystery Babylon is actually, it's a system. It's a system of control that has infiltrated even the best churches. And we're going to take a look at that and how that happened. So back in the book of Genesis, we read about the flood, worldwide flood that Noah and his family were preserved through. And after the flood, people were told that they needed to spread out, okay, and have dominion over the earth. Well, instead of doing that, they congregated on a plain called Shinar, which is near the Euphrates River, and they decided that they were going to make a name for themselves. And the founder of that city was actually Nimrod, whose name means rebel, and he is a type of the Antichrist. He's the first king person that we read about who pitted himself against the Lord. He started a little empire. He established a number of cities, and he probably was the driving force behind building a tower, which was the religious aspect of Babel, and also building a city. Now, the people had to make bricks in order to do this, and I'm just going to let you know they were the first masons. And that should be a bit of an indicator about what we're looking at. Also, when the Israelites were in Egypt, they were forced to make bricks. This is a picture of man-made religion where we're trying to establish or build our own system. Well, when God came down from heaven, it says, and he looked at the tower and the city that people were building, and he said, you know, nothing will be impossible for these people if we just let things go on. So God confused their languages, and they spread out over the world. The solution basically was to cut off communication. But as we know, there's more than one way to communicate. You don't have to speak each other's language, because symbols can work very well in communicating messages. Even though the city and the tower were never completed, the religion of Babel was far from demolished or far from finished, and like a noxious weed, it spread out over the whole earth. And every religion that's in the world today carries with it the DNA, the seed of Babel and the Tower of Babel and what people were trying to do at that time. Babel and Babylon are both synonymous, and they mean the gate of God, as though they could either reach heaven through their efforts and arrive at the gate of God, or what, I don't know, but it's a picture. When we get to the book of Revelation, we read that Mystery Babylon, the harlot, sits on many waters, and the many waters are the many peoples, tribes, tongues, and nations of the world. That is, Mystery Babylon has infiltrated the whole world, and she is in all religions, and she's brought her system with her. So Revelation 17 describes this religion as a woman, a beautiful, seductive harlot, who is happy to share her favors with anyone and everyone who wants to make a deal with her. She's appealing, she's deceptive, alluring, and for many, many people, her charms are absolutely irresistible. Those seduced by her or by one of her many harlot daughters believe whatever she promises, whether it's wealth or eternal life or freedom or fun or stuff, not realizing that what she actually delivers is death itself. And Proverbs 5:3-6 talks about the way of the harlot and that it leads to death. Mystery Babylon, the harlot, is a system that has been in existence since the Tower of Babel, and it's carried into every religion of the world today. And I don't care whether you're in some tribal religion with a witch doctor or you're in the Vatican with the Pope, it's in every religion. Harlot religion is characterized by a system of control. And there are 6 indicators that I have that we're going to talk about that let us know, or will let you know, whether the system is in your church or whether it's in some religion or not. The first thing that harlot religion has is it always has a hierarchy. And the hierarchy is usually in the shape of a pyramid, with the people at the top who are in the know or have all the secret knowledge, and the people at the bottom know very little, and then there are people who aren't even a part of it, who don't know anything about the inner workings of the system. The second thing is that there is secret knowledge that can be gained, okay? And it's acquired by people who are initiated into this system. And if they want to become a part of the hierarchy, they have to go through an initiation process. And this secret knowledge is part of what makes Mystery Babylon a mystery, okay? It's one of the mystery religions. That is, there is secret esoteric knowledge that you have to have that is only gained a little by little as you go up the hierarchy of the pyramid. All right, so with the secret knowledge, the harlot has a name of mystery. That's what it says in Revelation 17. It's written on her forehead. Now, in the Greek, the word mystery is actually the word mysterion, which means to shut, as in to shut the mouth, because you have to keep a secret. You're going to take a vow of silence because you know something that you're not allowed to share. So a mysterion is basically when you're told to do this. And we see that, of course, as a sign that's all over everywhere. Hollywood, musicians, this is a secret that you are not allowed to divulge. That's the mysterion. It's a mystery religion. So in the mystery religions, an initiate would be taken from one degree to another as they climbed up the ladder. And degree by degree, they are entrusted with the secrets of the religion. And by the way, the power is always in the secrets. And as the initiate climbs, they gain more and more knowledge, which is hidden from the rank and file. Knowledge which was able to give them power, influence, or control. Now, the third thing is that there's a distinction between those who are in control or part of the hierarchy and those who are not. If I were to just say the words to you, priest, pastor, shaman, yogi, minister, practitioner, president, pope, rabbi, or imam, you would have a picture of someone who is not like you. Okay, unless you're one of these people, okay? They may dress differently from the average person. They may expect to be treated differently with more respect and all of that. They have been initiated into whatever system of religion that they have by virtue of special training, which costs time and money, and they may have to make some kind of vows or sacrifices. But the bottom line is that they're certified in some way. They hold special standing in the community, and they know more than you do because they're special. And I'm not being derogatory here. I'm just telling you the facts. This is how it is, all right? And this is part of the mystery religions. It's part of Mystery Babylon that the church is to come out of. The fourth point on this is that there is a way we do things, okay? And this is part of how the harlot seduces people and casts the spell, is through religious rites and rituals, maybe through a liturgy or spiritual words, great oration, traditions that people do. All of this is the way we do something, okay? And it's through these rites and rituals and traditions that this spell is cast. So the worshiper is assured that the priest or whoever is the officiant or the special person, that they know how to bridge that connection between you and God, and they're going to tell you how to do things. A lot of this will cost you money, and the money goes into the system. Which brings us to the fifth point, is that harlot religion, or this system of control, wants to make a name for itself. That is, it wants to perpetuate itself. It wants to live on in perpetuity. And this is what is so dangerous too. This requires money and buildings and programs and rules and traditions and schools and all of this. And so now what you have is something that's etched in stone. It is not a spiritual thing anymore. It is an institution. And the last thing is that harlot engages in a cooperative relationship with the state. Both the religious entity and the state have a benefit from this relationship. So when the harlot shares her favors with the state, she's going to get something out of it. And it's usually financial, or there'll be some aspect of control that this religious system will get. And in return, the state expects that the religious system will cooperate with the state in terms of influencing the hearts and minds of people. And all of this, of course, is strictly business. And it's a good deal for everyone except for the people, of course. So how has the harlot influenced the church? How has Babel come into Christian fellowship? So in Revelation, when John sees the harlot, it says that he marveled. He was astonished. He was incredulous. It's not that John hadn't ever seen, some kind of idolatry, he lived in the Roman Empire. There was idolatry all around him, but there was something about the harlot that he was like, he couldn't believe what he saw. And we don't know exactly what that was, but I can venture a guess. And that is that somehow or another, the harlot was speaking or acting in sort of a Christian veneer, but underneath was not Christian at all, because she's drunk with the blood of the saints. We know that Babylonian religion, Mystery Babylon, has infiltrated the church, or the church has become a part of Mystery Babylon, because in Revelation 18, a voice from heaven pleads with God's people, "Come out of her, my people." These are people who belong to God, belong to Christ, but they've been sucked into a system that is, in the end, if they stay in that system, is going to kill them. Especially, this applies to people who come to Christ once the first rapture takes place and we're taken out of here, and now people are Christians. What are they going to do? They're going to go to church, which is one of the most dangerous places they could possibly go. And we'll talk about that on another video. But somehow or another, God's people have taken up with the harlot, and they didn't even know that they'd fallen victim to her sorcery, to her spell casting. And what persecution failed to do in eradicating the power of the church, the harlot was able to do through infiltration and compromise. So if you can't beat them, you need to corrupt them. And that's what Jesus is talking about in the letters to the 7 churches, when he's talking about that there are people in these churches and these groups who are encouraging people to fornicate and to eat meat offered to idols. This is spiritual fornication. This is a compromise that people who come into these churches are wanting these people to do. And corruption happens a little at a time through association with people who have an agenda. And here's a very important thing to know too, is that the corruption is incremental. It's unoffensive to most people. It's reasonable. That is, you can try to, say there's a good reason for doing this. It's hard to argue with, but it's not spiritually congruent with true Christianity. All right. The harlot system has been Christianized so that it's palatable for unwary believers. And it seems orthodox, but all the elements of harlotry are present in most modern day churches. So what does the harlot system look like in the church? This is what we're going to take a look at in the next video. I hope you're brave enough to stick around for that. Hope to see you on the next video. Till then, have a very blessed day.